The CNI team set out for Hebron to better understand the nuances of land disputes. Jeff Halper, an American anthropologist from Minnesota, who heads a group fighting demolitions of Palestinian homes, suggested that the situation is growing worse by the day.
So now the Palestinians are locked into 70 islands, little islands in which the closure, and as you saw today, the checkpoints are in between the islands, not between Israel and the West Bank. So their situation got infinitely worse during the Oslo peace process.
Our escort to Hebron was Yehuda Shaul, the young director of a group of former Israeli soldiers that goes by the name Breaking the Silence. He offered insight into the Israeli government's direct complicity in taking land from poor Palestinian shepherds. Our group was approached by soldiers at one point, and later we were prevented from re-entering Jerusalem through one of the main city gates.
If you take the phrase breaking the silence and you look at it in a deeper moral perspective, take it out of the ex-soldiers who speak about what they've done, and you understand that, when this is happening, there's only two positions to take towards reality. One is in favor and one is against.
Shaul spoke ironically about his days as a soldier and the missions that he had to perform.
These are just Bedouins who invaded our training zone, right? So you don't really... Okay, this is part of what you do in your training. So constant harassments and these kind of stuff, you would train searching operations on their villages.
But he also pointed to on-the-ground realities that are getting worse.
And this where comes the very unique kind of way of life of this community of the cave dwellers. They don't live in one place. According to the agricultural seasons, they move. So the state stood up in front of court and said, look, they're not permanent inhabitants here. Only 6 months of the year they live here. The other 6 months they live in a different place. That's why the other place is their permanent place.
Top of the hill, the outpost in the south of Susia, Yair al-Sinai, the guy who founded it, was murdered by Palestinians in clashes over land. And that was the turning point here. The next day the IDF came here. Very, very brutal evacuation. Over 1,000 trees were uprooted. Tents and caves were demolished. The sheep sheds, that's how you would call it, were demolished on the sheep. A few dozens of sheep died. According to testimonies of people who took part in it, settlers took part in this operation also. And that's when the court froze the case, allowed them to stay. Now the story is we have no problem for them to be on the land, but not with tents. There's no permits for that. The caves of Susia were burnt by the settlers in '96. That's why they're black inside. A bulldozer comes, just, breaks the roof. You will see a car inside, a stuffed car, yeah? Bulldozer basically stuffed the place. The Palestinians cleaned it, but they couldn't take out the car. So now they can't use this water for drinking water, only for the animals.
The patriarch of this clan of shepherds welcomed the former Jewish soldier and our group. He said that in order to hold on to his treasured land in the West Bank, his village was trying to obtain building permits from the Israeli government.
يسمحوا انهم مش راضيين والارض لنا بقول هاي الارض لكم بس يعني السكن ممنوع عليها ليش يعني انا بقدر الغنم هان اروح 10 كيلو كل يوم عطه وارجع هان
والله خليني اترجم. What they're looking for is building permits, and they're not getting those building permits, although they have some lawyers that are actually working with them try to get them the building permits. راح تعمل شو؟ من وين بتروح على سوريا؟ بتروح على الحدود؟
على الاردن.
تروح على الأردن وبعدين على سوريا. Anybody else for some tea?
Just down the road, the group came into close contact with a pair of Israeli settlers on horseback. Palestinians living along a perimeter fence claimed that the men were trespassing and that they had come to intimidate and harass them with the goal of frightening them off the land.
They're just trying to put more pressure on us so that we could leave, but we're not gonna leave.
Yeah.
Because we've been here for over 100 years and years before even they
Sure.
came in.
Sure. What's your name?
Yusri Jabir. They just come all the time over here to irritate us, to do whatever.
Did they come on horses like this?
Yeah.